What's going on, guys? So if anything, guys, got my house situation settled. I finally got the setup in a new house, new room, new setup almost in a way too. So if anything, we're gonna get back to the content, and we're actually gonna start with another Let's Be Honest video featuring the one and only MAK. Here we go. Where do you want to start?
Well, where do we start?
All right. So that's why I was kind of sending you those screenshots, because I kind of just want to grab somebody's comment from YouTube, address it, and then give our feedback on it and continue in the Let's Be Honest perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look, the first one that I took a screenshot of is by Justin Gager. So he says, the problem at this point is just blatant lying. They tell us for months the heads-up display is amazing. Just wait till you guys see it. And now they didn't like the work of this AAA company and want to do it themselves. I'm not buying it for a second. They have proven themselves to be untrustworthy. How do you feel about that?
So I see where the guy's coming from. I agree and disagree about it all at the same time. I don't think it is just blatant lying, because blatant lying is lying for the sake of lying. I do think that as a company, they definitely didn't have enough planned out in the right order. Maybe management, not the correct structure in the company, which has led to the delays, which means content and information both becomes old, overlapped, and in the wrong order. And I think this comment pretty much describes that in a less constructive way and more of a attacking sense. But there's nothing to take away from the guy, because I totally get it, and I think most people do.
Yeah, like
it would be cool for him to sit back, take a breath, and reevaluate. Not change his opinion, just maybe change the words.
I would love to hear more from what he has to say, to be honest.
For sure.
Because I'll tell you this, like an overwhelming amount of people have come up with very similar points in that last video that I posted. Like I like the word lying has been thrown out quite a bit. The word untrustworthy or not trustworthy or anything like that has been thrown out a ton. Like here's the thing, like I get it, but at the same time, like it just me perspectively, I don't take to heart anything a company says ever. Like so that I if a company decides last minute this game is delayed, last minute this has changed, in my mind, I'm just the type of person that I'm not like, yo, I feel like they lied to me. Like, feel me? I'm like a fuck it type of person. Like, it's delayed? Well, better go back to TFT for a week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that type of person. So I almost like lack a sense of empathy sometimes for like, like when I read comments like this. But like, I get where they're coming from, that they might feel deceived in a way. But I don't know. Like, I do my best to try and keep up with the updates, the news, all the little posts that they throw out on Discord and all that stuff. And I don't know. Let me ask you this. So, do you think that Strange Matter should not have announced that the HUD was amazing, or that it was going to be amazing? Because I don't quite remember exactly what they said. I'll look it up while you talk here.
Kind of, yes. I don't think they should have, because they've come out and said that when they got the product back, it wasn't good enough for them and they wanted more. As a company, you should plan for this ahead of time. You should know what you want. I think that
ask for that in advance. Like, I'll be honest, like if they were making, like if I'm having somebody make up a heads up display, I'll tell them, hey, this is what I want. This is what I wanted to look. Here's a rough draft drawing. I drew it in colored pencil for you. Like, whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Just to try and eliminate as many variables as possible and be like, hey, get to work. Don't waste my money. You know what I mean?
But once they got back what they wanted is when they decide, you know what, this isn't what we want. And, you know, as a company that's already been taking in a lot of money from the consumers, it is definitely a sign of they don't even know what they want. They believe they know what they want now, but they thought they knew what they want when they paid a company to do what they wanted. And it wasn't until they received it they realized it's not what they wanted. But one question I do have for SMS is, you've got a static image for the HUD. Why can't you just add animations to that static image? Like, put in the
like
HUD
them do it themselves,
as a static image, and then add the animations as a future update. I don't know. There's obviously some design flaw that they're not keen on that won't fit with animations or something. But yeah, it's like what we spoke about last time about raising the bar or setting the bar and saying it's going to be great. It's going to be this. It's coming soon. And when they get it, it's like, yeah, it's not what we want, but it's what they asked for.
See, and you bring up a good point. Because like, be honest with me, in the current default heads-up display, do you find anything wrong with it?
No.
Like, that's how I feel. Like, of course, it can be improved, right? It can be made to look nicer. Animations could be in there.
Yeah.
But
it's ugly AF for sure.
I mean,
it's ugly AF, but it's simple and it does a job.
It works. It just simply works, right? So I'd like, and that's where like my lack of expertise in that area comes by. Like, I don't know how hard it would be for them to simply just improve upon what they already have. You follow? Like, maybe it's out of their realm of knowledge and they have to hire somebody else. But you know what? But this is gonna, it's a pretty good segue into another comment that got put in here. I'm gonna actually skip a couple here. Somebody
before you do that,
go ahead.
I have to say, I think I would actually appreciate it a little bit if they didn't add too much eye candy to the HUD, because it's a MOBA where you need to concentrate on game awareness and map awareness and use a minimap. So having too much distraction is gonna be a bad thing, especially for new players, because when I'm playing, I'm not looking at the HUD. Maybe I look at a cooldown on an active item or a cooldown on my ultimate, but you don't need to have all singing, all dancing, all fancy and flashy animation, everything. It doesn't serve a point apart from, you know, making something look pretty. So
see, I on that subject, I just think that they're trying to be and surpass Paragon heads-up display as much as possible. And I think that that's actually causing them almost like a downfall that they're going down. Yeah, because like some of the things that they mentioned in their last post, that like, you know, they mentioned little things like, hey, well, we want it so that if something goes on cooldown, it'll go from a square to a circle, so you can easily visually tell is like, hey, it's on cooldown. Like, yeah, that's a pretty nice feature, to be honest. But like,
countdown's better.
Well, I was about to say, in my mind, I'm like, well, isn't the timer still going to be there anyway?
Yep.
Like, feel me? Like, just gray it out. And like, I get it. Like, they want it to be visually appealing. And they mentioned like they wanted a VFX that runs through the minimap lanes to indicate that it's time to push after Prime has been taken. Which, I get it, especially it's new user friendly. Prime just got taken. Hell, just like a quick little line on the mini map that just going up. You get what I mean? Like, I get why they would want that, because they not only want to educate, but they want to make the games end faster too. But
I think that would be better for a ping system. Attack mid lane, arrow going up the mid lane. Defend
that would be cool. That would be lit. That wouldn't be bad at all.
I think that's better.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all. In case that like somebody doesn't know what attack mid lane is, just a little red
Yep.
arrow going up the middle. That wouldn't
And
be
when you
horrible.
say ward prime pit and pit, the prime pit pings,
Yeah,
like so they know where to go. Yeah.
like or like a little question mark pops up on top of prime.
Mm-hmm.
Like just
Yep.
stuff like that. Like that sounds dope. That honestly sounds dope. But again, it's just one of those things that they're trying to get this amazing heads up display, and they state on their last developer blog that it's basically going to be along the lines of like the heads up display, and if they need to tweak things here and there, so like they're going for like finished product heads up display. Now what just concerns me is on the time frame, especially if they're starting from scratch. You get me?
Yep. For sure. And the money they already wasted.
And the like, and honestly, and money that they're going to have to use again, because even if they do it
Yep.
themselves, that's time and resources spent.
Time is money.
Exactly. And specifically, and let's just keep on going down with these lists, because there's a lot of things that get mentioned. The one I was going to bring up is Elijah Hawkins commented here: didn't a AAA company develop their most recent heads up display? Isn't that the same company that did Paragon's heads up display? And SMS is claiming they weren't satisfied and want to redo it themselves? Either I'm missing something or something shady and weird is going on in Strange Matter Studios. How do you feel about that comment?
So I don't believe there's anything shady going on at all. I'm not entirely sure if they did do Paragon's heads up display, but it does come back to what I already spoke about just momentarily. Like, they have no structure in the company. They have no vision of the future. It feels like they have no creative director, and it's hurting them. Like, they need to have a solid vision. They can't keep on changing their minds.
Do you think they need a creative director? Like just somebody that basically is steering the ship, like the ship captain, so to speak?
Yeah. So, I mean, we see SMS as an indie developer, right? They're a new company. The difference between like an indie game and a AAA game is indie games can change on the fly and they don't have too much expectation and everything. Whereas
because they're more in control.
An indie developer trying to make a game that was AAA, and they can't keep on changing their mind. They have to have a more solid structure. Like, you have to have a creative direction that doesn't change every couple months because somebody had a new idea or they got what they thought they wanted and it wasn't good enough. Because it's a waste of resources, waste of time, waste of money. Delays, obviously, is going to hurt the community, is going to hurt the game. Everything is a snowball. It's either a good snowball or a bad snowball. And this is where a lot of this passion comes from in the comments. Like what we're reading now. It's all passion. And I feel exactly the same. It's all passion. Because if they didn't really care, they just wouldn't play the game and wouldn't bother.
Yeah, they wouldn't even bother commenting. They wouldn't do anything. So I'm trying to think, man, because it's one of those things that, like, I agree with you. Having somebody, in the helm saying, because like I get it. There's going to be the founders, right? But there needs to be one person. There needs to be that one individual that's going to make that final call. One individual that has the ideal vision for this project that everybody trusts wholeheartedly. I get that. My issue is, will they be able to find somebody like that? Because ideally, or more than likely, it would be one of the founders that gets picked as that individual. You feel me?
Yep.
And I think, I don't know how much the structure works there, but I think it's more like a voting system that they might have going on between the founders and the top men, the top developers. That at that point they're like, hey, well, you know what? I think we should do this. I think we should do that. Maybe they're just trying to please too many people.
Yep, that's exactly it. It's too open-ended. There's too much uncertainty.
Like I don't have this specific comment, but I was reading a comment that mentioned the fact that the community, it's partially the community's fault, and it's partially Strange Matter's fault. And their whole reasoning behind it was the fact that the community is taking to heart everything Strange Matter says. Like they're like, hey, this is my girlfriend and she's talking to me. And then Strange Matter is, just speaking things about what they're doing. And then, like they're trying to generate hype. Like they might be trying to approach things with a more business conscientious mind, but they don't necessarily notice how that's affecting the other side of the relationship when they say it. That was the argument that the individual was making. And that the community was letting themselves down, not by getting their own hopes up, and then letting themselves down by getting those expectations, like by letting those expectations get so high. Because, like, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, let's be real, Mac. Like, if I tell you, hey, me and like 7 other buddies, we're going to make a video game, right? It's going to be playable a year and a half from now, fully released. Like, I'll be real with you, that's a fucking tall order. Like, I don't care how good any of us might be, that's a tall order. And there's nothing wrong with being oh my God, I can't even talk. Optimistic. There's nothing wrong with being optimistic. But it's definitely one of those things that I think Strange Matters definitely has to, probably now more than ever, tread extremely carefully so they don't tarnish what little reputation they have left. And I'll say that again, what little reputation they have left. Because even though there's individuals like us that support them, we want them to do better, there are so many individuals that have literally sent me DMs, that have literally just looked at the situation and said, yeah, I'm good. They lost my trust.
Yeah.
It's like an ex-girlfriend that cheated on you. They're not going back.
Yep.
That's the way they're treating it. You feel me?
Well, I mean, kind of connected to what you were just talking about. If you look at the pinned messages in the general chat, right, there is one, where is it?
You talking about in the on their general chat under their Discord?
SMS Gen Chat, the 24th of the 9th, 2020.
Okay.
I do it in that order because it makes sense to me because I'm British.
No, you're okay. Go for
Ryan
it.
Red saying, all right, I'm a be real with all you homies, blah, 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 blah. And then he talks about the game and everything. I honestly feel like that is the most honest they've been, and it should have been an announcement, not a comment in general chat that was pinned. That is the type of thing that people want to see announced from a company standpoint, not a PR standpoint. That's my opinion, completely my opinion. But
I didn't even know that message existed.
can you see it?
Yeah. I'm at it. I would love to read it out loud, because I'll be honest, I didn't know it existed because it was just a random message. Yeah. It was just a random ass message, and I just read a little bit now, and I'm like, if I didn't know this existed, I promise you there's plenty of people that don't know it existed. So let me just read this real quick. All right. So on September 24th, Ryan Red says, all right, I'm going to be real with all of you. You're my homies. I don't care if I get heat. I apologize for my lack of messages here in Gen Chat the last few days. Currently working on a lot of upcoming things for the community, things I wish so badly I could spill the beans on. Now, about the game. We're working on a lot of things at the moment. Now, not just a game, but becoming a full-on game development company. I understand the frustration some may feel with things like the heads-up display, skins, but I can tell you 100% of the team is always working. We have a lot of things to come. We are not only improving the game itself, but also how we go about things to increase the production. Some of this came from feedback and watching the community. Personally, I'm still blown away at the number of patches, fixes the game has had since EA launch. along with a big restructure, which it is worth mentioning considering what's been done in 2 months. A lot has been done for a small company, but we'll come back to that one. I understand that things have been a little dry with leaks content, but I can tell you that things will only go up from here, and we apologize for the heads up display and skin delay. I assure you the team is not taking it easy on these. We have simply found ways to improve and wish to implement it with future content. You may have noticed the difference between Grim and Decker VFX and sounds compared to the other heroes. This is a perfect example of this. Also about the MMR, we are aware many players have mentioned problems with queue times and we're working to fix this. I don't hold anything against people who are coming off negative with their comments, and there's a reason the mods are not taking heavy actions against this, because your words come from a good place and we appreciate them. Like that, bro. That's a good message. I gotta say,
Yep.
It's a good message. Like you could tell it comes from the heart. If I dare say so myself, right?
I think if that's reworded to be less of a personal statement
And more like a company
that is the type
message.
of statement that I want to have from SMS as a company. That is what the people want to hear from the company. It's not what they want from a personal perspective of somebody like a community manager. And that's no disrespect to Ryan Red, because I applaud that. But it needs to be an announcement. It needs to be the company, because it's...
See, and I wonder...
We're not waiting for Ryan to make the game.
Yeah, no. You're totally right. Now, I wonder, because you know how whenever it comes to companies and whenever you're not the one in charge, right? Like if I have to go through you to make these posts, if I have to run these every single message by you, if I'm like, hey, can I post this message? Can I talk about this, etc.? I wonder if the reason why it was in general chat was because maybe somebody deemed it wasn't fit for announcements. Because I'll be honest, like if you look at these announcements and just like, kind of scrolling up really quick on the Strange Matter Studios announcements, it's almost like a news bulletin board. A quick little statement and a link on everything. You get me?
But there's no connection. It's just purely like game. There's no connection between like we're making this game for you, because they're not just making it for themselves because they're selling it.
How do you feel about the dev blog then? Because that's like their attempt to show some sort of connection as far as insight also. How do you feel about that?
I appreciate it. I think it's a good step forward. My initial reaction is it's too little too late, but we'll see how they progress with it and how much transparency they bring with their developer blogs, how often it happens, how reliable it becomes, and whether they set any bars in these blogs, because I'm not looking for hype in these blogs. I'm not looking for bars to be set.
Just straight facts.
I want interaction. I want to connect. Okay. I want to feel the company reaching out to me, not an individual. Or if it does come from an individual, I want that individual to be saying, look, I'm the face of the company right now, and this is me connecting with you.
So like the Ryan Red message, you feel like would be a good place to put in a developer blog, is what you're saying? Something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it should have been an announcement, man. Like there's a lot of really good heart to heart in that message, and I feel like it's what the people wanted. And it should have come as an announcement.
Right, I didn't even know about it.
Don't know it's there.
Like who goes into general chat and says, "Let me just scroll through these pinned messages because I'm bored." Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep.
I don't go into a pinned message area unless somebody tells me to. Unless they say
most
check the pinned messages.
Don't even know what a pinned message is.
True. There's a lot of mobile users that are like, how do I join a voice chat? Hold up.
Yep.
So man, I don't know, man. Like here's the thing. Part of me's happy that they're listening to feedback. Like the whole developer blog. That's things that you and I talked about in our last Let's Be Honest. Like, hey, they need to make a way to reach out to people. they need to make a tutorial that's simple. They got plenty of characters, and we even suggested Sylphin, Ryan Red. Those are people that are able to have the equipment, the voice, the quality, everything. And they actually acted on that, and I'm actually very impressed and happy that they're, you know, perceptive on some of that feedback.
Yep.
But you bring up a very valid point as to too little too late, which for me, in my mind, it ties into relevancy. Because that's going to be the biggest thing. Like, you get me? Like, right now, everybody's worried about this heads-up display. You know, like the month of October is already starting, and the people are going to start to be worried about the heroes. I don't think, like, if a developer blog talking about a hero delay shows up at the end of October, that's still too little too late. Like, they got to realize, as soon as they got any PR issue, is the way I would put it. Any PR issue, anything that might cause the bit of backlash, make a developer blog about it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
sure.
Here, let me read you another one of these comments here, because again, like, these are just all frustrations that I completely understand, but they bring up very, very good points. Like, look, check this one out. I'm pretty much just waiting for another game at this point. The player base is getting smaller by the day. I'm tired of having to teach my team how to play the game almost every match. I'm waiting like 30 plus minutes to get a match sometimes. Half of my queues just go to a cut screen in the void under the map and cancel. How about something as simple as an audible 5-second warning countdown during the draft when it's your time to pick, so people quit dodging on accident? There's so many small things that they could do to improve the game and the user experience. There needs to be an actual in-game tutorial made by an actual good player that people can learn from, not a video buried somewhere in YouTube that literally 0 players are going to see. You can't even view the items in game. How are the players supposed to know how to build going into their first several matches? They're just going to get yelled at and quit the game. How hard is it to put 1 page of items in the actual game? Nobody is going to go to the damn website. I feel like Strange Matter Studios is thinking way too far ahead right now. They're looking at end game stuff when they don't even have the very basic necessities to maintain a functioning player base. That's a lot to capture just in that one right there, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So let's go here.
I would like to mention one thing about that, actually. A lot of the simple things and the small things they can do to improve the game, I totally agree with that, and I believe there is a lot of unintuitive things, like in the tutorial, Sylphin says control and the corresponding number key, which is false information, because the white aspect is the first one, and control 1 does not upgrade the white aspect. At least it doesn't for me. It should be more intuitive than that, and if it's not intuitive, it should say why. And also the dragging the items, why is it right click? Why can't it be left click? It's not intuitive at all. But yeah, moving on.
Well, hold on, let's piggyback off of that. So yeah, like little things like that, quality of life changes, let's call them, all right? So they could do that, but at what expense? Because we've already seen when they stop to focus on something that they didn't have in plan, something else gets delayed. You feel me?
That's the issue I've got, because I feel like things like that shouldn't have to be changed. They should have been intuitive and logical from the start.
I could see that. Which
like,
it is, which I'll be honest, it is.
Would you build the root first?
Yeah, it is weird. I'm not gonna lie, it is weird, like right clicking to drag. But dude, I honestly, and this is my personal issue with Strange Matter Studios. Like, I'll support them, I'll give them feedback, and I want them to succeed. But I find myself often in a situation that I'm asking more questions than I have answers to. And that's me as a content creator. That's me knowing a lot more behind the scenes, me as a partner. You follow? And considering that I'm asking myself so many of these questions, I can only imagine how other people might feel. And like you said, I would personally be okay if they would just stop giving deadlines, stop giving estimates. Literally, when's the game gonna come out? Eventually. Like, I know people want to know, but personally, I rather hear soon enough or soon TM lol. I rather hear some shit like that as opposed to first quarter 2021, and then first quarter 2021. Oh, like it came out, but it wasn't the best because we were on a time crunch, or hey, it's been delayed. Like we talked about this a little bit in the last video. The fact that I'm not entirely sure that they are giving themselves enough time to breathe, giving themselves enough leeway for shit to go wrong and still be able to fix it. But how do you feel about this whole, like, this gentleman here, Magic and a Fro Op is who wrote this, by the way, guys. But this gentleman here, he also mentions the fact that there needs to be an actual in-game tutorial that they need to make by an actual good player that people can learn from, not a video buried in YouTube. Because I'm okay with having the YouTube video idea, like if they're putting that in the game and having that accessible to people. But I mean, they bring up a good point. Like it was a good overview, that tutorial that they made. It's a couple simple basic things. But if a player is starting the game, so they have the tutorial. All right, cool. How do they build? Whenever you go into the draft, how do you know what character is which? Like, and like you said, it's just little simple character, like quality of life things. Like if as soon as you clicked on Gideon, a simple word came up on the side that said mage.
Yep.
And a brief description under.
Yep.
Like the same brief description they got on their website.
Yep.
Like,
or if you click on the role you want to play, it
shows you the
out,
characters.
Yeah, or the non-characters fit for that role, or not.
Like it filters through it almost.
Yeah, a filter basically. But I think it's not a tutorial. It's not a tutorial. It's an overview. Tutorial should be in game. You should have to have hands-on experience. It's really difficult.
I see what you mean there.
Though. Without having AI, it's difficult. You should have a one-lane instance of the game where towers have got like 3 hit HP, and then the core has maybe 5 hit HP, so you can experience the game at a fast pace. And then obviously maybe 1 or 2 bot games to get a feel for it before you go PvP. But
I wonder if
it needs to be.
But is AI even actually needed for a tutorial? Like imagine single lane, 2 towers, super easy to kill, right? And then literally they can, on the second tower, they can just have a steal standing there, not even moving, not walking, and just you hit them, take the health bar away, little pop up. Hey, when you kill heroes, you gain gold and experience. But be careful. Make sure you don't die. Just, you feel me? You don't need an AI for that. All you need is a minion AI in a working lane. Or working half of a lane.
Agreed.
You feel me? Like, maybe, like, I don't know if they might just be like overcomplicating it. Or they, like, again, maybe it's just those expectations that they want to be AAA and above. And they're like, hey, when we make a tutorial, we want it to be way better than Paragon's was. When it's just like, why don't you just put a basic tutorial, bro?
Yeah.
They
are looking a lot to the end game, which is great. But the end game has too much uncertainty about it at the moment. They need to start basic and build from there. It's good to have a vision. It really is. I don't believe they have a solid one at the moment, at least not one that they can agree on. I
think that's the key.
Just do the basics first, man. If people are going to play a game that looks like crap, but mechanically is awesome, then it's an awesome game.
Yeah,
And
like
build from it.
that's true, because a lot of people will play a shitty looking game and be like, yo, I can't wait till they improve the graphics. I can't wait till this game gets better. I still remember Rainbow Six Siege on Alpha, bro. That was the jankiest looking airplane I'd ever seen in my life. But it was still fun as shit. And it got millions of people to be like, you know what? We're going to try this game out. Now, considering what you just said, I want to touch on this comment here. Because I think there is, like, I want Strange Matters to realize that it's not just what people are saying, but it's like also like how they feel. Because like right here, S Jakku Gaming says, I am done with this game. I hope Predecessor and Overprime can make something better. And I want to specify the fact that he says, I hope they can make something better. Not they did make something better. Not they have made something better. It's so
they will.
Exactly. It's to the fact that he's like, that individual still thinks that Fault is the better game right now. But he is so done with it, so fed up, he hopes the other ones do something better.
Yeah.
Like, if like they got people legit, and I know I don't want to make it sound like a drama story and shit, but they got people losing hope on their game.
Yeah.
When real shit, the only reason the game is here is because of hope. And I think that has to do with like people feeling that distrust. And I don't think you're wrong. I think they need to come up with more of a genuine heart to heart, like, hey, this is us being honest type of consistent post. Like, even if like, honestly, I don't know how you feel about it, but even if they threw good news and bad news at me in the same post, I'd be like, well, at least they're being honest.
Exactly my point. Exactly. If
Like,
anybody watching now can see any of my comments on Windu's videos about any issues or any announcements,
he goes ham on the YouTube.
Exactly my point in every comment. It's why I'm here. This is my
why I'm here.
This is my gripe.
Yeah, man. Like I'm just gonna use these last two posts as an example. They created a tutorial to help new players. The tutorial is the first step in new player onboarding, which is cool, you know, first step. Like you said, a little bit behind, but at least they're doing something, right? And then they mentioned we're open to all feedback, right? Then they start mentioning the developer blog and etc. My thing is, where on here does it mention the heads-up display? You have to go into the developer blog just to read about what's going on with the heads-up display, which is fine. But like, I would have personally put somewhere along the lines of, and you know, if you go into the developer blog, you'll be able to find information about the heads-up display that's been going on, some of our unfortunate mishaps, and some of our goals. This is just our 2 cents to keep it real with you guys. We highly recommend you guys read it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, if it wasn't for me, would have, you know, wanting to report on stuff like this, as soon as I see a random game that I played, developer blog, episode 1, man, I don't give a shit about what developer blog. Tell me about the game. There's a game news section on the website. And there you see patch notes and blog, right? I don't know how many people are going to go there. I don't know how many people are going to go to this developer blog. You feel me? But I do know.
Visit Playfault for one reason.
The items?
Leaderboard, Elo, stuff that's
leaderboard
in a casual version of the game right now. That's a whole different story.
I mean,
Hashtag bring matchmaking to EU.
I'm so done. I mean, honestly, since we're on the subject, you're not wrong. Here's my thing. I don't think it should be, but they need to work on it. And that's something similar that I talked about with Mangoose at one point. Like, yeah, in a casual game, it shouldn't be, but they need to work on it. Because what they don't want is come the full release of the game and be like, hey, this is our first try at matchmaking. We could have been doing this a year ago, but oops, you know. So it's rough. It's rough. Like they are literally between a rock and a hard place. Like it's they have to. They honestly have to. Like I don't see another alternative. Hey, maybe somebody listening to this might be able to comment or leave us, a message with any ideas, but I just don't see a win-win scenario for them. I just don't. As far as like the whole having in-game, the leaderboard, stuff like that. Because honestly, you take that leaderboard out, a lot of the top players are just gonna stop playing. That's all they care about. I know I know plenty of people that legit only care about the leaderboard and nothing else. They don't care about like they're a top player. They don't give a shit about teaching somebody else. They don't give a shit about improving the game. All they care about is being at the top and knowing that they're at the top.
And they're the same people that when people cry about ELO and broken MMR and no matchmaking, they're the same people that reply with, "You shouldn't care about ELO right now."
I mean,
they'll say, "Focus on yourself and getting better at the game," and I agree with that. But having it there, having a leaderboard in a non-ranked mode with ranks, I mean, MMR, FR, ELO, it's all the same thing. It's like it breeds toxicity, and it just breeds for a bad gameplay environment. Internal MMR should be just that, internal.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I do my best to not look at that.
Oh,
but I still look at it.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Like just because it's there, you get me?
Yeah.
Like I might do a million viewer games. Like if you look at my last 10 matches, you're only gonna see 2 green in there. And at the end of the day, I'll still look and be like, I wonder how far I dropped.
Yep.
And be like,
it's unhealthy.
Oh, I'm still top 1,000. Okay, whatever. Like, but you're totally right. And it opens up the window in the entire conversation of, hey, I am losing because I'm a silver playing with bronze. Why there's so many bronze on my team? Like that's almost it's almost like poisoning the water. You know what I mean? Like that toxicity is there.
Once you get to here, it becomes harder not to look.
You send me a picture? Oh, I see it.
Yeah. Once you start getting up here, man, every game is
No. I get you. I get you for sure. Because it's one of those things that I still remember when they first had the ELO matchmaking thing for the alpha, right? And I'm not going to lie, I went on a sweat stack with my homies. And I want to say the highest I got to was number 2 during the weekend. But it was just one, and it was one of those things that I was grinding, but I wasn't necessarily helping too much. And I wasn't necessarily being as educational, teaching people and stuff like that. That's why, like, this time around, I said, like, yeah, until the matchmaking system is finished, until the rank gets reset, until the game is fully released, I'm going to make a promise to myself to do my best to not give a shit. I think I've played with Huddy, Jake, Sneaky, and I think it was Appy. I don't remember. I went one day for 2 matches, and then immediately we just went to custom matches with homies. Because it was just one of those things that I'm like, yo, it just becomes a little bit too easy, and I can easily see how we're destroying these people on the other side, and I feel bad, man. Like, I don't understand how some of these top players don't give a shit. Like, real shit. Like, if I'm trying to help a game grow, if I'm trying to make a community thrive, why would I sit there and literally put 50 pounds on this side of the scale and then be like, man, y'all just gotta not worry about your ELO and get better with your whole 3 pounds over there. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why. Like, if these people want a game to play, they need to just stop sweat stacking.
Yeah. I mean, that box there, that bottom box with those numbers and those words, That is why people play the game, and it's why people stop playing the game.
You think people stop playing because of the fact that there is a rank, or because they're upset that their rank is being affected?
The latter. They're upset because, especially in EU, no matchmaking. Like, you get people playing their first ever game and they come up against masters on the other team, and it's like, yeah, GG. One of the devs actually said in voice chat that EU is Wild West. It is the Wild West. It is no holds barred. It's like people get upset because it's there, because it's a thing. People get upset, and why shouldn't they? If
I mean, I
ranking
get
is
it.
in the game, why shouldn't they be upset? Especially when there's no MMR or no actual matchmaking in EU. Why shouldn't they be upset? It upsets me sometimes. You know I shouldn't, but because it's there and it's a thing, you see your progression. You see how far you've gone. And then all of a sudden, you know, you come up against a group of Smurfs and you get a team of new players, and then you lose like 50, 60, 70 elo. Like,
I'll be honest,
it's
man.
there. I worked hard to get it. Why should I lose it because there's no matchmaking? It breeds toxicity.
So let me ask you, and this is going to be more on the personal side of Strange Matter Studios. Why have you specifically not stopped playing?
Me?
Yeah.
Um,
I'll give you my why here in a second.
Yeah. As much as I am frustrated with where the game is at, I bloody love the game. I bloody love Paragon. Paragon was my game. Just nothing compared to it, man. And at the moment, nothing really compares to Fault. It is what it is. I can go and say, yeah, I'll go play Smite because I used to play Smite and it's more complete game. But I play Smite. I enjoy myself.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not Fault. It's not Fault. It's not Paragon or Parazombie. I bloody love the game, dude. I love the game. Love to hate it. Or I hate to love it, and I love to hate it.
I feel that wholeheartedly. Like, look, like for me, I'll tell you what. I am, you know, I'm definitely a huge supporter. I'm definitely, you know, always keeping it honest with everybody. But like, I'll be real, man. Like me, I do a lot of viewer games. You know, my elo is not the highest because of that. You know, I'm still like, my rank right now is what, 861? Looking at the page since I already got it up. So, you know, there's been several times, and I mean several times, where at the end of the day, I promise you, I'm like, why do I play this fucking game? But then I think to myself, I'm like, okay, so I play the game because of the hope for a future. I play the game because I want to try my best and make a difference to get this game to be as good as it needs to be, right? And if it and this is saying something, you know, to Strange Matter Studios and to everybody. If it wasn't for that, I personally probably would have stopped playing a bit ago. Like if I would have just gone based off of my gaming experience, I probably would have stopped playing a bit ago. Because it's just it's maddening, man. Like a normal MOBA, and just to provide a comparison, because I don't want it to feel like we're being too harsh on Strange Matter Studios either. In a normal MOBA, you brought up Smite, League of Legends, whichever. In a normal MOBA, let's be honest, man, you can only lose so much after your fucking head explodes, and you're like, I hate this fucking game. I need a new keyboard. Fuck.
Oh, F4,
like,
new monitor.
Yeah, fucking summit that shit. Like it, like that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like a natural MOBA, any game that thrives off of competition is just going to bring that out in individuals, right? Now, if you create that type of environment and then not have, let's say, safeguards is the word that I'm going to use. If you create that type of environment and you don't have limits as to how bad it can get, for example, somebody like, I'll be honest, man, there was a stream, one of my streams, I did like 7 matches, right? Every single match, we went up against the Masters because I'm up there. And then the rest of my team was like bronze and silver. And we went up against Masters. And I was just telling my team, like, hey, I'm really proud of you guys. Because going up against Appy, going up against all these people, you guys are doing great. You are doing great. What are you? 1 and 4? That's fucking amazing against a Masters player.
For sure.
I am happy for you. You know, like I was trying to, you know, boost them up. I had somebody that is actually going through like our training, the videos that we're doing right now. And the reason why he signed up for our training videos was because he was a platinum player back in Paragon. And now he was with me that day. He only made it 3 matches. 3 matches deep. This man sounded defeated. This man sounded like his life was just torn away from him. He's like, man, I'll be honest with you, Windu. I'm just gonna get off. Like, I'll go solo queue or something because I'm dragging you guys down every single match. I'm like 0-10, and I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I was a platinum player, and now I'm getting shit on. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. And he's been there grinding, trying to get better, but I'm pretty sure a shit ton of people feel that way. But not everybody is willing to sit there, grind, and deal with that pain. You feel me? The average person is just gonna be like, fuck you, I got a new girlfriend waiting for me over there. You know what I mean?
Yep. For sure.
Like, yo, it killed me to hear that shit, bro. It killed me. Like, how many people are going through that shit? I don't think Strange Matter Studio, like, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure they know. But I don't think they realize the impact that somebody's hurt feelings can cause as to their population. Because too many people getting butthurt, for lack of a better word, you know, like, that's just what I call it. But too many people getting butthurt because of a situation. They went up against Masters. They didn't understand the item system and got their asses whooped. Whatever it may be. Like, realistically, that's something that is just gonna make it happen, you know? But let's do this. Honestly, this has been already a lengthy video. I'm trying to shorten them up because last time we did like 2 hours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of good things. I'm trying to keep it more condensed because, again, we want these developers to know to understand what we are saying. We want them to hear what we are saying. And at the end of the day, if anybody ever wants to come up on one of these shows and have a chat, I welcome it. I'm trying to bring on people with expertise, people not only that have expertise in the Paragon field, but people with expertise in, you know, marketing, game development, etc. Because it really is one of those things that at the end of the day, we're the ones that make a difference, and our voices have to be heard, and this is a way for our voices to be heard. So if anything, guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate all the love. Everybody, go follow MAK on his YouTube. Show him some love for sure. But if anything, guys, to the next video.